This transformation is about the way that you engage in the world. As you know, the world is very complex and very dynamic, and things are constantly changing and shifting. And what we support you to do is actually to understand a lot about that world, about the way that those changes are happening, in a way that actually engages you in processes and practices to transform the way that you are in the world and the way that you understand the world, and to act in that world in a way that is different from possibly what you're doing now and the way that you're doing it now. But this transformation requires ongoing mindfulness, and to get to that point is actually really very difficult to do. And so what we have done is to actually design into our programs places in which you can become more mindful. So there are opportunities all the way through the program for you to actually engage with yourself and with others, both facilitators and other participants in the program, in that mindfulness practice. Unlike other universities and programs, we don't just expect this to happen. We actually have designed this in a way that actually engages you to, together with a community to actually develop these practices. So these are transformative practices and mindfulness practices and integration across different parts of your world. These are the sorts of things that we spend a lot of time working with you around. And in the between those sessions, you will actually experience in the world's things, and you can bring those back into the conversations, into the processes, so that you can actually reflect on that. So reflective praxis is really quite important to us and to you, to allow you to actually work out what it is that you want to do with all these experiences that you're having, and how you can learn from them and transform your practice. So being mindful in your practice is really quite an important aspect of this transformation to sustaining living. So actually being mindful of what it is that you would sustain is actually quite important, because often sustainability seems to actually focus on doing more of what we are doing, but a bit better. What we're aiming for is actually doing better with a transformed world. So actually working out where it is that we want to put our efforts and where it is that we want to engage in the world. And so being mindful of that and actually thinking about and being aware not only in your mind but also through your body and other elements of your life, your feelings and so on, to actually bring those into your practice so that you're actually much more aware of the interrelationships between things. Transformative practice is actually the most difficult of all of the practices that we have, and in a way it's a sort of function of all those other practices. It's actually it's what emerges out of this mindfulness and integration across different things, and understanding yourself and your relationship to the world and what you would bring to the world. That's what actually transforms the way that you are in the world. And so it's not very direct. It's not a direct practice in the same way as the other two, mindfulness and integration, because, as I say, it's sort of like a function of those practices that somehow your world becomes transformed. So you may have heard the use of the word sustainability in a lot of different contexts. We feel that our program actually goes beyond sustainability and thinks about this idea of sustaining life. And sustaining life means not just humans, it means the non-human as well. So all those species that at the moment are being sort of decimated by the way that humans are in the world, the way that flora is being removed, etc. They're all living things that we also want to, and the planet is a living thing. So the interconnection between the land and the atmosphere and the oceans and the etc., all the different aspects of it are actually a living, breathing entity. And so what we're working on is actually sustaining living. And so that's where we want to take things. But individuals actually will engage in that process and thinking about sustaining living in all sorts of different ways. And we encourage that. We actually focus on the individual and where they can actually bring purchase, if you like, on this issue of how do we bring sustaining living into the world.